Morning, and we're live. It's live on Cindy's Car Chat, and thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Cindy, and I'm a teacher, and I'm on the way to school right now. I live in New Hampshire, and wow, the weather is quite foggy this morning. So it is about 32 degrees in New Hampshire, and I have my camera to the side here so you can see what the weather's like outside. I can't see that far today. It is foggy, and I think it's because we have cold weather and warm weather meeting up, and we have fog. So this is an interesting scenario. It could be dangerous. I have my lights on. I can see the cars, well, pretty close to me. I would say like, I don't know, 100 feet in front of me, but if you look far into the distance, it's very foggy. So it's very interesting. People on the highway all have lights on. You might see that in the side camera. So good morning and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the thumbs up. And I'm just going to share a little bit of my story here. Teacher, and I live in New Hampshire. Today is election day. Today is election day, and I'm not running, and I'm not even taking the day off, which is unusual because for the last 4 years, I have taken off election day, and I've either helped in the inside and checking people in, or I have been outside holding a sign for myself or someone else. But I've been taking a lot of days off to go to the State House, so I'm not taking today off, and I'm just praying a lot because I have a friend that is running for library trustee, and I'm on that board, and I'm hoping that she's going to get elected today. So I'm just trusting the Lord right now and not participating bigly right now because I have to go to school, but then after school I will head right over there. And I'll probably eat supper over there too because the students at the school usually make food for all of the workers and anybody else who comes in, and they do this as a fundraiser. So I think I might buy my supper there tonight. So good morning and welcome to my channel from New Hampshire. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the animals that we have enjoyed in my family. Good morning, Darlene. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. May today be filled with Jesus kisses. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, foggy days are pretty too. So it's a foggy day. I wish I could go to the beach right now just to enjoy the peace and quiet there, but maybe, soon I will be able to get there. I have some friends that we go when I can to the beach, and we pray together, and it's been a really great blessing. Boys are unstoppable. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, and thank you for the thumbs up on this video. I really appreciate it. Just trying to grow my channel one thumbs up at a time. Seems like I'm taking the slow route. My friend, my Darlene is in Florida. Cool. That is really awesome. I wish I was in Florida right now. Thank you for coming to my channel. I see I have 7 viewers, so please make a comment below and give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to grow my channel, and my name is Cindy from New Hampshire, and I'm a teacher, and I'm driving to school this morning. I have morning duty, so it's 32, and it's supposed to be in the 50s later on today, so I'm really looking forward to some great afternoon weather. I wore a shirt with a coat kind of thing so that I can wear that in the morning, and then hopefully I'll be wearing just my shirt that I got on Amazon. It's really pretty, has flowers on it, and I'm hoping that it's going to be so warm I'm going to wear just that this afternoon. And today I decided I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the animals that we have had in our family. So if you've been to my channel for some of my chats, I've got 13 children, and 13 children is a lot. And I homeschooled for many years, and we've had a lot of different animals. I was talking to my mother the other day because she was telling me a little bit about her childhood. And I thought, we have had a lot of animals in our family. And I'm not a majorly big animal person. Like, we have a dog now, we have a cat, and that's going to be it. Like, I think I'm done with animals. And it's kind of funny because right now I have, I don't know, a lot of my kids have dogs. I have one daughter. Let's see, my oldest has a golden retriever. My second daughter has two dogs, and her house is like perfection. So those dogs have to be really good. And then my third daughter has a little tiny Chihuahua that's a naughty dog. And then I have let's see, my fifth child is a girl, and she has two cute dogs that are like her children. And she has, let's see, who else? My seventh daughter, she just had another baby, and they have two dogs, and they found a stray dog. They large Saint Bernard dog, and then they found a stray dog that their son loves. So now they have three dogs. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the animals that we've enjoyed as a family. And first of all, we had a dog when I had my first child, and I realized I'm not a majorly awesome dog person. We had a tiny house, and the dog was very kind of naughty in the house. Just always very excited. It was a really good hunting dog, and it was a gorgeous color. But we got the dog as a puppy, but then we didn't get our house right away, so we left the dog with the person who owned it. And then we had to get it when it was a little older, so we didn't have time to train it when it was really little. So every time the dog came in the house, the dog would pee. So then we had to go ahead and build it a little house outside. It had a little pen, and I had a baby. Then I had a second child within 15 months, and it was just really hard for me to take care of the dog. So we ended up giving that dog away when we moved because we just couldn't manage it. And that was kind of our first dog together, and it didn't really go very well. But then later on through the years, we ended up where I live now. When we first got there, we had a friend that had a collie dog. And they said, "Would you like this dog?" Well, my kids were deathly afraid of animals the older ones, when they were little. And so I thought, well, if I got a dog, that would help them to get more used to animals. They wouldn't be so scared of them if we go to friends' houses and they have animals. So we got this collie dog, but this was the most emotional dog I'd ever seen. It just had so many emotional problems. And I had a friend that said, "Oh, we'll take the dog because, we have a large area and I'm sure it will do good with us." It's a beautiful collie dog. And they ended up taking the dog. I think they gave it away too because they found more of a respite place for dogs, like where you go and just live on the farm until you're done. And so that dog didn't go real well, but we did enjoy it. The kids, they enjoyed the dog, but there just was things about it that didn't work out for us. So we probably had that a year or two. Then we got a cat. We had a friend that was moving, and this cat was a homeschool family, beautiful white cat, had never been outside. And so we thought, oh, we'll take this cat. Well, wouldn't you know, the cat sneaks out. Oh, hey, Kelly. Kelly's home today. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the comments. So I'm just talking a little bit about some of the animals that we had as a family. And we're on to the cat. Now, the cat was the girl's favorite. Like, the cat did sneak out, did get pregnant. And the first time the cat had kittens, we didn't know because we had never had cats before, but she had them prematurely. So I think she had like 8, but only 4 survived, and they were very premature. But my oldest daughter, she took care of them, and she was really good. She was the midwife, she was the caretaker, the whole 9 yards. And then the cat got pregnant again, and I think we got her fixed after that, if I remember correctly. But she had like 8 or 9 cats again. So she was a very fertile cat. And my daughter named them all like really cool names, like missionary names and music names. And it was really fun. I can't remember all the names right now, but she had them. They were so cute. And unfortunately, we had to give all the kittens away. But I did get a picture. I didn't want our dog, but my daughter begged for it. Oh, yeah. I know. Once you get an animal, it's like part of your family. And so they loved that cat. I think she ran off, I think, and we never saw her again. So I don't remember her dying or anything. Then we got a guinea pig. My daughter somehow, I think it was when we had Craigslist, she saw guinea pig with the cage and everything, and the first time she read it, she thought it was said genuine pig, and she loved pigs. She had pig stuffed animals, pig, you know, pictures, pig little trinkets and everything. Everything she loved was pig. So when she saw genuine pig, she thought, oh, that's what I want. But then she realized it said guinea pig. So she ended up, we did get the guinea pig with the cage, the whole 9 yards. And she had it for quite a while. But, they were the middle ages, like 8, 9, 10. And they weren't always cleaning the cage. Well, one summer day, I decided, I'm like, you guys have to clean this this cage. And I'm telling the whole story. Well, it turns out it was like the hottest day of the summer, and I cleaned the cage and I put the cage on the porch. And when I put it there, it was shady. But then after a while, we were cleaning the basement. I had a friend over. She was helping me like declutter. We would get rid of so much trash. And I didn't realize that the sun had come up and the guinea pig was exposed to the sun. And I went, oh my gosh, the guinea pig, we go over there. The guinea pig is in like cardiac arrest. It was horrible. I can laugh about it now, but it was horrible. And we said, we called the vet. What can we do? We tried to put it in warm water, like to bring the temperature down, and nothing we did worked. And the poor thing died. So basically, I killed the guinea pig by cleaning the cage. That was really stupid. It was a horrible day. And then I was talking to my mom about, different animals that we got in the yard, because we have a big yard. I have 4 dogs, a cat, and a hamster. That's awesome. I think we had hamsters at one time too. But I remember the kids went out into the yard and they caught chipmunks, live chipmunks, and I'm like, get rid of that thing. Lizards. I mean, we have a pond down the road. One time we were doing a little day camp at the house, and I told my daughter, Naomi, who was probably 8 or 9 at the time, go down to the pond and get some frogs, and we'll have a frog hopping contest. So, being the overachiever that she is, she took a friend. They got a cooler, like unbeknownst to me. I didn't even know what they were doing. They were following my instructions, but I'm figuring they're going to bring 3 or 4 frogs back. They got a cooler and they filled that thing with the biggest bullfrogs. They're like 4 inches long. And we had kids at the house. They were playing games, and we had like a music camp at the house. And we had the biggest frog hopping contest you have ever seen. It was hilarious. And that was before, like, all of the YouTube stuff. But it was awesome. She had that cooler so full of bullfrogs. And they were huge. It was hilarious. So that was our experience with bullfrogs. One time they went out into the yard and they heard this noise. They were going out and looking around. They brought back to the house a like baby, like newborn raccoon. Maybe not newborn, maybe like a week old or something. And the thing was making noise, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the mother is, hey Bree, thanks for coming. Bree from Canada, awesome. Um, so they figured, the poor raccoon doesn't have a mother. What are we gonna take care of it? We're gonna take care of this raccoon. We're gonna bring it back to health, the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, what do we feed it? I called a couple friends. We were homeschoolers. And then somebody said, call the police station because they have a animal control person. And so I called the police station. They said, I'll be right down. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I didn't want them to come to my house. So they come to the house in the cruiser and everything. And they said, it's you need to put that back into the wild and let nature take its course. I'm like, oh my word, why didn't he just tell me that on the telephone? He had to come all the way down here in person and tell me to put it back. All right, so he's like, it's illegal to have wildlife in captivity. So we had to put it back, and I'm not sure the kids understood completely what nature take its course meant, but that's what we did. Poor thing. One time we had a raccoon at the end of our driveway and it was dead. Maybe it was in the trash or something and some car hit it or something. It was at the end of the driveway and I knew that my kids were going to go outside and play and it could have rabies or something. So that time I did call the police station and asked if someone would come down and move it. And they said, is it in the road? And I said, no, it's not in the road. He's like, well, if it was in the road, we could come down and move it. But if it's in your yard, you have to take care of it. And I was like, well, how about if I just move it into the road? Which I did not do. So I talked them into coming, and they said, well, we'll send an officer to come, and he will help you put it into a bag or something to get rid of it. So I made him do it himself. He came to the house and he did it himself. So I was like, I can't let my kids go outside and play with a dead raccoon at the end of the driveway. So that was another raccoon story. Okay, this is a bird story. We had a bird. Okay, so we're getting ready for church one morning, and my daughter was probably 11 or 12, my oldest. So I had a bunch of little kids. I'm trying to get everybody ready for church. My husband had already gone ahead of me. And my daughter was cleaning her shoes off. It must have been around spring because her shoes were muddy and she had to clean them off before church. So she's cleaning them off and she looks over and she goes, that is not a bird that is normal for, a wild bird. So it was green and blue. This is before the internet was as popular. Like you could go on the internet, but it wasn't as easy as it is now. And so she looks at it. I looked at it. I tried to go on the internet to find out what kind of bird it was. I couldn't tell. But she's like, I need to catch that bird. So she's like trying to put her hand out that it might go on her hand or she's just trying everything. And it's getting time for church. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, we need to go to church. We don't have time to catch a bird. And so all the kids were just buzzing. And my third daughter, it was around her It seems like it was around her birthday, maybe not, but I think it was springtime. It was kind of cool, not majorly warm. But anyway, she said she had been praying for a bird. She had been praying for a bird, literally. So she was thinking this is an answer to prayer. So they were just buzzing, like just you can imagine. I probably had 7 kids at the time, and they're all. And I'm like, we have to go to church. This is it. We don't have any time. I looked at my watch. I'm like, it's the last minute. So my daughter is a little bit giving up, and she's kind of starts to walk into the house, and the bird jumped on her head. Literally, I am serious. This is a real story. The bird jumped on her head. And so she gingerly walks into the house with the bird on her head. And she comes into the house, has the bird. They were flipping out. And so what we ended up doing is we got a box and we put the box over the bird to stay in it. And I think we got it some water or something. And we had to go to church. So we went to church knowing the whole time that that bird was in the box. So, of course, we rushed back home after church, trying to get some bird feed for it or something. I don't know what we got for it to eat. But we were just trying to figure out how to take care of this bird. I figured out that it looked like a lovebird. And we did have a pet store not far from our house. So we didn't know how this. And then when I went online, I was really surprised that there are people that are looking for like domestic birds, like of all kinds and sorts. There's a lot of domestic birds out there in captivity, in the wild. And there's a lot of stories about birds escaping their homes and everything. It was just so funny. But it turned out that our neighbor, which is next to us, which is not directly next door, like closely, it's probably, like 2 yards, like 2 1-acre yards. There's a road in between the two houses, but it was like an empty lot and then the house. So there's quite a big space there, and they said it was their bird. So we gave them back the bird, and then they said it died. So it didn't survive long after that, but the story lives on. It was such an amazing story. And I love that story. Then there's the time that we had a nest. Now that the birds always build a nest right above our front door. We have like a light, like a outside light that goes on outside near the doors. And there's a fixture there, and we always got birds that would build a nest there. Well, for some reason, the kids had been watching, and they would watch that the mother bird would go out, bring the birds food, go out, bring the birds food. And then one time they come to me and they're like, Mom, the mother bird is dead. She's dead. We've been watching her going back and forth, and now the baby birds don't have anybody to bring them food, and they're going to die. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, you have to drop everything. There's a nest of baby birds there. And I did a whole bunch of calling, checking on things, and I found out that you're not supposed to take care of wild birds. But there are people who are certified and trained to take care of wild birds. So I found a person, and we had to take the entire nest, put it in a box, and I brought it to this person. It was probably like a 45-minute drive. And I gave her my email. It wasn't like, the mail wasn't like Facebook right now. It was just basically you had emails. And I gave her my email address, and I told her, please let me know if these birds survive. And she did. She messaged me back, and all of the birds survived, and she let them out free when they were old enough. So that was a really funny story. I don't know how the girls knew. They were just very observant, I guess. It wasn't like right below their window. I don't know what they were doing, but that's another bird story that I have. And then later, we move along to when my daughter wanted to get married, but she wasn't finding a guy that she really liked. So she bought a little dog, and that was Clifford. Clifford was the little tiny, he was a dachshund. He was a long haired hot dog type dog, the best dog ever. And that was Clifford. And when she got married, she ended up leaving Clifford with us. But unfortunately, Clifford got hit by a car, and that was a horrible day. Clifford had gone up to the road to check out the trash. And usually Clifford didn't do that, but one of the neighbors' friends was driving by and didn't see the dog, and the dog was killed. But before that Clifford had passed away, we got a Chihuahua, and this Chihuahua is an animal we still have to this day. And unfortunately, the Chihuahua is not very good personality. And so she's kind of just like in her last days right now. And she's not the most pleasant dog, but she has a home. She's like the longest living dog ever. And she's kind of a rescue dog. She never was good about being house trained. So she's kind of like a nuisance. But we'll take care of her till she expires, I guess. So that's another dog story. But I think that I did also get a cat during COVID because I really wanted life in the house. And that cat is a female cat. Is a very small cat. And she has not been outside. She lives inside the house, and she seems to be pretty good with it. She's very quiet, very like stays hidden most of the time, and that is Athena, they call her. I wanted to call her, I can't remember the name I had for her, but they call her Athena, so that's her name. She's kind of like a black with brownish spots, kind of an interesting color. Very small cat, and pretty good cat. She doesn't really like me that much, but she likes the kids. So those are some of my animal. Oh, and we also had chickens. We had lots of chickens through the years. Chickens was my thing. I really loved chickens. I loved having fresh eggs. And at one point, we had like a dozen chickens. So we'd get, even over a dozen eggs per day. And we had chickens, and we also raised a pig 2 times, I think it was. We had Mr. Bacon first, and then we had a pig named Sausage. And we caught these two animals at the Deerfield Fair. That's the fair that I make my dishcloths at. And we kept them outside. They grew to over 200 pounds, 250 pounds. And then we would have I don't know what they call the guy that cuts them up. Excuse me. So we had him come, and they charged like $75 just to come get the pig. And that was an adventure all of its own, because the guy said they just know when they see the Undertaker, they know, and they squeal and they fight against it, and they don't want to be caught. But other than that, they were really friendly. Like whenever you would come and feed them, they're like pets, and they were very friendly. But we did have them butchered, and we put their meat in the freezer, and we did eat it. Now, the first one, the kids didn't really want to eat it because they thought, it's a friendly pig, it's their pet, they didn't want to eat it. So I made pork chops. They were a little hesitant to eat that, but then I went ahead and I said, how about if I make the bacon? I bet you they'll like that. So they love bacon. So they did eat the bacon, and the meat was very good. It was very, very good. very tasty. And so we had that. So that was an adventure because we're not really animal people. I did it more like as a homeschool project, an adventure, something to, a story to tell, in their later years. So it definitely served that purpose. So that's really funny. So that's the extent of our farming life was chickens and pig. Now the chickens we got, well, one time I got some chickens on um, like Craigslist. This place was like, $2 a piece. You can choose your own. Well, when I got there, they chose them all for me. So I was like, okay. So I got the chicks, and they just gave me a box of chicks, however many I thought I wanted, like 12 chicks or something. And I brought them home and we had a place for them to live and everything. And you don't know whether they're roosters or hens until they get older. Turned out of, I think it was a dozen chickens, like 7 of them were roosters. So I tell the kids, go outside and play, and they're like, the roosters are getting us. Now, speaking of animals, there's a bunch of geese on, there's a golf course as I'm almost to school, and there's a bunch of geese out on the golf course, so that's kind of cool. So that means they're coming back north for the summer. And so, yeah, I had to have them, a friend of mine that knows how to take care of roosters so that they can become dinner, if you know what I mean. So I didn't eat them, but I gave them away actually. And my son was brokenhearted because he was the one who counted them every night, make sure they were in the pen, because I loved to let them free range. And so we had to make sure they were in the pen every night. So anyway, I'm almost at school. That was a long, long story about all the animals that we've had in our house. So thank you for watching. Let me know how you like this video. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the thumbs up. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.